without giving too much away about the quarterbacks and how you plan to use them, I mean, what would it look like ideally to use both of those guys Thursday? Do you have kind of a plan for what it would look like?
Well, they'll both play in the first half. We definitely want that to happen, and go from there. But we don't want to rotate series. But getting back to the two quarterbacks, you know, I know some of you here know a lot more about coaching quarterbacks than I do, and you're not supposed to jerk them in and out of the game. It hurts their feelings and all that. But of the 8 conference championships that I've been fortunate enough to coach teams, 4 of those 8, we used 2 quarterbacks. And throughout the course of the season, 4 of the 8 championships. Danny Warfel, the 4 he gets credited with down there, actually Terry Dean was the most valuable player in the 93 SEC championship game. Danny actually got hurt the week before. But Terry played a lot that year, and he played about half the 94 season also before Danny came in. And then the last one we won, Rex Grossman and Jesse Palmer sort of rotated throughout the year. They did. One would go bad. Fortunately, the other one would come in and play very well. And a lot of you may remember the South Carolina game when it was 21-3. Rex started the game and appeared to be lost or whatever, and Jesse came in and did some things to help us pull that one out. So I have found there's nothing wrong with playing 2 quarterbacks if that's what it takes to try to win the game. And even the year at Duke, we used 2 throughout the course of that season. So anyway, the object's to win the game, and as long as everybody's on the same page, you use all the players necessary to win the game.
Steve,
Yep.
you take a win any way you can get it, and, you know, no style points. But how important is it for you to have your offense start playing better? And you know,
Well, it's important that we play more of a tough, physical, smart game. That's important that we don't get shoved around, hopefully, and show a lot of fight and fire. That's what's important. And we've done that at times around here, just not consistently. So I think our guys know that. We have, I think, an excellent group of leaders, maybe a little different than in the past, and Cliff Matthews, Patrick DeMarco, and all these guys have done a good job. Lottie Ajaboy and Spencer Lanning. I can't say enough about Spencer. He may be one of the toughest kickers you'll ever see. In the weight room, he's one of the best lifters, Coach Fitz has said. And he really has kicked beautifully in preseason. Not only field goals and extra points, but his punts. He's in the top of his game right now. Now, hopefully it continues. Hopefully he didn't peak in preseason, but he makes virtually everything in practice each day.
Just offensively speaking, though, I mean, do you pay attention when people, you know, question whether you can still put up the kind of yards and numbers you did at Florida? And understand it's a different era and different players, but I mean, is that sort of thing important to you, offensively?
Well, it's a little different, you know, and you look at those statistics and so forth, and really, it's going to be tough for us to lead the conference in offense anytime soon because of our schedule. We don't have those games like we used to have at Florida. Who does Florida open up with this year? Miami of Ohio or somebody, and I think Alabama. They got 2 or 3 teams there that they could make 1,000 yards against Georgia State. Do they play North Texas again? Or they play? Yeah, I mean they got some teams they could roll up 600-700 yards, and unfortunately we don't have anybody on our schedule. I don't think that we can roll up 600 or 700 yards. So statistically, we may not be up there with those kind of schools. But on the other side, we need to play a lot better. We can't keep going backwards. It's been embarrassing. Oh, the last time we tried to play was embarrassing with all the sacks and things that happened to us. So we've coached it as hard as we can, and our line coach, our running back coach, our quarterback coach, all of us, we're trying to play smarter.
I guess going back to the receivers, have you ever had a guy like Alshon and his work ethic that seems to be infectious to the rest of the unit?
Yeah, Alshon's got good work ethic, but certainly I've had many that have had just as good. That you don't become a truly great college football player without it. So, but I think Alshon is an improved receiver from last year. I know physically he's a lot better shape than last year. But the other guys have done well too. A lot of them have done well in preseason. So we'll probably play a lot of receivers here Thursday night.
Coach, talk about the offensive line. You said you hope they play better this year. You've gone through a whole spring and now a whole month of practice with Sean Elliott as your offensive line coach. What has he done to impress you, and how much credit will he get if this line performs well?
Well, if they perform well, he'll get all the credit because they haven't performed very well in a while around here. But yeah, Sean's, I think, an excellent coach. Really impressed the way he handles his players and the enthusiasm that he comes to practice every day with. But again, we got to go play Thursday night, and we got some players actually with a little bit of experience. I'm not sure right now about our right guard position. It's a little questionable. I need some help from some of you sports writers on who should play there. But other than that, Jarrell King and Kyle Nunn and Hutch Eckerson, they've been here a while. Garrett Chisholm, T.J. Johnson. And so they've played a bit, so we should be ready to play.
Coach, your thoughts on Coach Fedora's high-powered offense?
Yeah, there's a trivia question that you probably don't know, Bart. Who when I left Florida, who replaced me as the offensive coordinator? Dang, he knew that. I know you're that smart. Yeah, he came in with Ron Zook, and I think he was there 3 years, and I guess got the head job at Southern Miss from there. But yeah, he's a former offensive coordinator, and I believe he still runs the offense there and calls the plays and so forth. So they've done well. They've had identical record to us. The last 2 years we're both schools 7-6, 14-12 last 2 years. So somebody's going to be better off late Thursday night than they once were.
What did he switch up?
Huh?
What did he switch up when he took over Florida?
What did he switch up? What do you mean?
You said when you left.
Well, he brought his offense in.
No, I mean,
Yeah, Ron Zook didn't have – Ron's his defensive coordinator, so.
but could you tell us about the difference?
Oh, no, I didn't watch him that much after that.
Steve, with the exception of Saunders, are there no players that you will hold out if you have not heard any directives from the NCAA? In other words, is everybody going to play if you don't hear anything between now and then?
Yeah, like I said, Saunders is not going to play this game, and if anything happens between now and then, we'll let you guys know.
Coach, you mentioned DeAndre Brown in your opening. Can you kind of expand on your impressions of him as a receiver?
Well, he's a good one. He's a big guy, obviously, 6'6", about 240 or whatever. Again, our defensive coaches have watched most of their tape, not me. I've watched most of their defense throughout the summer and this week and so forth. But he supposedly is a NFL type guy that will be a high pick here. He's only a junior, but I guess he could come out early like a lot of them do.
Coach, you talked about the tradition at Southern Miss. Does Jeff Bauer, does he get enough credit for what he built there, down there in Hattiesburg? He's there for a long time and sort of was unceremoniously dumped, and Coach Fedora came in.
Yeah, Jeff Bauer, I played some golf with him several times when we went on those Nike trips back in those days in the 90s, and wonderful guy, good coach, and he had an excellent record there. I think he never had a losing season, and they let him go. So that shows you the expectations at Southern Miss. 7-5 is not good enough for those people over there. They're used to winning. But yeah, Jeff built that program. He played there and did a super job all those years. All right.
Coach, you said it yourself a couple of weeks ago that the fans seem to kind of be dissatisfied with the way y'all played in the bowl game. What do you think it's going to take to finally earn back everything that the fans, I guess, would deserve, I guess, for lack of a better word?
Yeah, we got to go play well. Just play well. Play with a lot of effort, a lot of fire. Act like it's the most important game in the world, because it is for us Thursday night. It's the one that's coming up next, and it is the most important game we've ever played. So hopefully our team will act like it. We didn't act like it the last time we tried to compete. So anyway, that's where we are, and I know we'll have a good crowd here. I don't know if it'll be a sellout, but that's okay. We got to worry about what we do as a team, and if we do what we're capable and play with a competitive fire that you must play with, certainly I think we'll have a bigger crowd the next game.
Coach, will Shaq Wilson dress out? And if he
I don't
doesn't-
think so. I don't think so. Shaq has not come back from that hamstring injury. And actually, Antonio Allen pulled his hamstring 2 days ago out there just covering a punt. And I don't know if he's going to be able to play either. So we've had a few more nagging little injuries from non-contact than I think we've had in a long time around here. I don't think anybody's got hurt from a hit. So just running down the field, pull a hamstring has happened to a couple of guys now.
Do you know who would start at the weak side position? And also Byron Jaredou, it looked like he left practice.
Yeah,
yesterday.
Jaredou has a little rib, what do you call that, cartilage in the rib, slipping and sliding a little bit. He's probably out also, big Jaredou. He was our defensive run stopper up the middle at times. But Kenny Davis will get an opportunity. Kenny Davis has done some good things this preseason. So he's bigger and stronger than he's ever been. So look for Kenny Davis to be in the middle of the line there a bit with Lottie, Melvin Ingram, Travian Robertson, so forth.
Steve, on the subject of Shaq, when we've talked to Ellis, he's referred to Shaq as the quarterback of the defense. Can you see from the offensive side when you're going against the defense, can you see a difference in that team without him in there?
Oh, I would say so, but I don't, I sort of watch the quarterbacks. I know some of you don't think so, but I really watch those guys about all day, and the receivers and the offensive line, and because we've not been as good around here as we'd hoped to be, as we know. But, we'll miss Shaq in there, but that's part of the game. Guys get hurt, another guy gets an opportunity to play. So that's the way it is.
Steve, we've heard you talk for the last 8 months or so about the bitter taste that the bowl performance left in your mouth. And this preseason, you've had to deal with some issues off the field. How much are you personally looking forward to just kicking it off Thursday night and just be involved with football for 3 hours?
Yeah, well, those issues are not as big a distraction as some people think. When you've coached for a long time, and it is first time in my coaching career that we have had sort of these kind of issues, and I realize now how they can happen. As coaches, we've all done the same thing we've always done throughout the summer, but all of a sudden some things happen. So it can happen, and all you can do is do what the NCAA tells you to do, and that's what we've done. And then they tell you what the rules are, what kind of punishment comes out. So we'll accept it and move on, whatever it is. We'll accept it and move on. And I guess that's a part of our sport. So anyway, but I don't believe in distractions. If a guy gets hurt, we're not going to sit around and mope and cry. Next guy has to go play. It's part of all sports. So whatever our team is out there Thursday night, that's our team. And we're expected to go play and play well.